On today's program, we are going to be unlocking wealth secrets. Also, how structured finance fuels private placement programs. This segment is a must-see. Let's welcome Taimour Zaman.
Nothing that I offer in this video should be considered as legal or financial advice. The purpose of this video is strictly for entertainment and educational purposes only.
Hi, Taimour. How are you today?
Not bad. How are you, buddy?
It's always great seeing you. You always have a smile on your face. You're always positive. I love that.
Thank you very much. Always great to see you too, my friend.
What are the different funding programs Alt Funds Global offers its preferred clients?
So, primarily we do two forms of funding. One is called loans, registered loans, recourse loans, like a loan you would get from a bank. And the second is what we call, the legal word for it's called limited recourse loans. Unfortunately, a lot of joker brokers out there have coined another word that's not legal nor correct, but it describes what it is, which is called non-recourse loans. It's loans you don't pay back. A little bit about Alt Funds Global. All we are doing, we do something very, very simple. Very simple. We take a business owner, a successful business owner, and we switch their bank, upgrade their bank, transfer the bank from retail banking to something called private banking. That's all we do. You know, how retail banking operates is different to how private banking operates. And the formulas are different. And as a result of switching or upgrading a client from using a retail bank to a private bank, they're able to access capital that the retail bank simply cannot afford to do, or they're able to do a transaction that a retail bank simply cannot afford to do. Now, it has to be an ultra high net worth client. It can be a homeless person, for lack of a better word, that has maybe $5 in a retail bank that we're trying to convert to a private bank. That formula, that doesn't work. It has to be a high net worth client, minimum, $2.1, $2.5 million should be their net worth. And they have to have some substantial amount of cash and assets for us to switch them to a private bank so they get the funding that retail banks simply cannot do. So now that I create the context, let me answer your questions. So one of our marquee programs is a program called Rent a Rich Uncle. Rent a Rich Uncle, all I do is I go to a client's FDIC insured bank. I put up our capital to buy one thing and only one thing from the bank. It's called courtesy deposit CDs. We're buying CDs from a bank. And there's two conditions to it. Condition one is that our CDs or the money we're putting up to buy the CDs cannot be collateralized. Condition two is...
One second, RCDs, what does that stand for?
Courtesy deposits, CDs. Okay. So I'm walking into your bank, I'm putting my money in your bank to buy from your bank something called CDs, courtesy deposits.
I get it.
So if you can think about a bank like Starbucks, when you walk into Starbucks, it sells coffee, tea, water, it has different drinks. Well, guess what? Banks have different products and services. So the only product we buy in Rent a Rich Uncle is courtesy deposits. That's the only product we buy. We don't buy the coffee and the tea, and I want the cappuccino with low foam milk, like none of that nonsense. We buy one thing and only one thing is courtesy deposits from a bank. And the two conditions are A, the courtesy deposits cannot be collateral. Two, the client has to get the funding they need. So Rent a Rich Uncle is really popular, especially with real estate developers, because real estate is an industry, real estate investing and real estate development is an industry that needs a lot of money all the time. Like that's an industry that just sucks capital every second. And the more capital you give that industry, the more it can use it. Right. So Rent a Rich Uncle is very popular for our real estate developing clients. They love it because their capital could be tied to a particular project that they're already involved in. They need new capital to do new projects. So that's Rent a Rich Uncle. These are registered loans, like a loan that you have to pay back. The client has to provide the collateral to the bank, not to us. Alt Funds Global is not a bank. We don't pretend to be a bank. We don't structure the transaction. I'm not taking a risk. I don't answer that, questions. What's my interest rate? I don't know what your interest rate is. Ask that from your bank. I'm not the one writing the deal, underwriting the deal.
But you have
That's
these connections with private banks.
no, this could be a private bank, but it could also be a retail bank that the client has.
I see.
Yeah, but that's a great question. Yeah.
Mhm.
The second program is our capital enhancement program. In this case, all I'm doing is I'm taking the client's capital, not my capital, the client's capital. And they need to have like a substantial amount, like 1.5 million, 1.6 million. It can't be like $2. Now I take that money to a private bank. I'm asking, when I mean a private bank, I don't mean Joe, my uncle, who sits down in his house and quote unquote has a private bank. I mean a real bank that's registered with FINRA and SEC. It has four legs. It has a compliance department, like a real bank. Now I take the client's capital, let's say 5 million, 2 million, whatever amount of money it is. I put that in the private bank. When I say put that, the client really is the one putting their money in that bank. The bank leverages that money. When you deposit money in Canada, as example, with any of your top two banks in Canada, when you deposit less than $1 million, please fact check me. The CEO of that bank gets a 20 times multiplier, 20 times multiplier within 7 days. So if you deposit, let's say $1 million in one of the top two Canadian banks, the CEO gets a $20 million credit within 7 days of you making a deposit from the central bank.
So he's making money off you right off the bat.
And the CEO doesn't call you and say, "Hey, do you want to share some of the profit I just made?" Because you know what the guy does with $20 million? He does a lot of things with just an overnight lending. He makes money. And then I don't want to go into that rabbit hole, but
Sure.
the CEO of your bank doesn't call you and say, "Hey, do you want to participate in this profit we made out of your deposit of $1 million?"
Thank you.
So what we did was we went to some of our private banks and we structured the transaction to say, look, we have a list of ultra high net worth clients who have projects that require financing. What can you do for us? So we have two banks right now. I'll talk about Canadian Bank specifically that takes the deposit, and within 30 banking days, they will give our client a 5 times multiplier. So the client that deposited said $5 million gets $25 million. Now, the $25 million that they get, the first 5 million is their original 5 million. So I gave you 5 million, you gave me 25 million. The first 5 million is my own money. So really, you're getting a 4 times the multiplier. So you're getting $20 million. That $20 million is a loan. The client needs to have a project that requires financing. The client needs to have collateral for the $20 million for them to participate in this program. It's very easy. They're getting a contract from a bank, not from Alfonso, about to deposit the money to the bank, not with me, although I love for them to deposit money with me. That doesn't happen. And then within 30 banking days, 30 to 60, it's usually so far every client we've had this year has been within 30 banking days. The client has got a 4x multiplier in form of a loan that they have to pay back. Now, if they don't pay back within the 2 years that they have the loan for, then that is, by the way, zero interest. 2 years, zero interest. That doesn't, $1 million turning into 5 million. You have 5 million for 2 years, that's your interest. That's not a bad deal. And then that 5 million, if you don't pay back within the first 2 years, then it turns into you will take on a interest payment that you have to pay, but that interest payment will be at competitive rates.
Okay. So that's what they mean by non-recourse loans.
So those are recourse loans that you have to pay
Recourse
back.
loans. Okay.
Now in a non-recourse loan section,
Right.
this is funding you don't pay back. Before I talk about non-recourse loans and how it works, here's what I want to just say about it a little bit. If you grew up in a religious family, and I'll use Catholicism as an example, being a Catholic as an example. You can hear about Judaism, you can hear about Muslim, you can hear about Protestant, but you're so stuck in being Catholic. Stuck is maybe not the word I should use. I apologize. I'm sure there's a better word, but at this one, I don't have a better word. But you're so in the world of being a Catholic that
you're so used to it.
You're used to it that you cannot hear where Islam is saying the same thing. It's one God. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or Protestant is saying Jesus. Like they're all. I don't want to say the same thing, but right now I'm just going to say they're all saying the same. You just can't hear it because you're so opinionated about your religion.
Yes.
Maybe I apologize. I probably don't know all the right words here. I'm using all the wrong analogies.
Careful.
I'm gonna have to be careful. So in non-recourse loans, or the word for it is called limited recourse loans, all we're doing is we're taking the client to the private or the wealth management division of their own bank
Right.
or a private bank that we have a relationship with, is really all we're doing. That religion, if I can say, they're just using a different formula to take you to heaven.
Right.
I don't know
And
how else to say it.
you're kind of hand holding them through the
Right.
process.
Oftentimes, the client doesn't have a relationship with the private bank or
Right.
with the private banking division of their own bank or with the private banks we work with. Don't have a relationship. They don't know how to pitch a project to the private bank. They don't know how to market themselves. There's so many things the client really doesn't know to do. That's where we add value. So in the private bank, it's not so much on what's your credit rating. You know, what's your credit street? Don't get me wrong. I don't know a private bank that will do a transaction with somebody who's got bad credit. But these things are not significant compared to retail bank. In retail bank, people are depositing $10,000, and then the guy needs that money instantly to pay his mortgage, car bills, whatever he needs that money for.
It's not
In
sticky.
Right. It's non-sticky money. Good. In retail, in private banking, the guy's not depositing 10 grand. He's depositing $10 million. He's depositing $5 million. He needs 50 million, 100 million, $2 billion. And he doesn't need that money. He doesn't need that money. That's why it's for wealth management, for wealthy clients or credit investors like that. So that bank CEO can make so much money on the 10 million that you don't need. You don't need access to it right away. He's got maybe 6 months, a year, 10 years to use that 10 million over and over and over. He'll make a fortune.
You're like
Because,
lending it to him, really.
right, you're lending it to him, right? Most people don't know that. They think, oh, it's a bank. And then the bank charges me money to, I mean, it's the biggest joke that I know of. You know, you have to pay your own bank fees, a service fee to hold your money, and they're
Yeah.
making money on top of your money, and they don't include you in that. And the next
Let's
month,
not
you have
get
to pay the
started.
fees again. But that's the truth, right?
Yeah, totally.
That's the truth. So in private banking, because you're depositing a substantial amount of capital, let's say 1 million, 5 million, and that, the bank can, same bank that you go to, same bank, assuming you go to one of the top 40 banks in the world. This is not what I'm saying is not applicable to a fintech or a small bank in a village in Africa. I'm talking about top banks in the world or one of the private banks that we work with. That CEO is leveraging your capital. And because he's leveraging your capital and because you deposit a lot of money, he's able to do something called non-recourse loan. The real word for it is called limited recourse loans. But these joker brokers have coined this term called non-recourse loan for some reason. It communicates what is this money I'm not giving back. The reason the CEO is giving you money that you don't pay back is because of all the money he's making on it compared to retail banking when you want the money back. So going back to your answer, products and services we offer. A managed by style of Sam Matters of Credit is often a very popular vehicle for a lot of entrepreneurs around the world that are looking for loans that they do not have to pay back. Typically, how you do it is you go to one of the private banks we work with. You said, this is my KYC. Are you ready for this? I'm here to open up a bank account. I'm here to open up a bank account. Why? Every CEO of a bank needs you to open up a bank account with them. It's like really as simple as that. Any joker broker on the internet that does not disclose that is some kind of fraud as far as I'm concerned. You have to be asking the bank, I'm here to open up a bank account. I don't know how much more simpler this becomes. Once you've opened up a bank account, I'm here because I need to do project financing. Here's my project. Can your compliance department please check my project? Money, you do that all on day one. When you go to the bank, you'll say, I'm here to open up a bank account. I want to do project financing after my account has been opened. Can you verify my project's real, Mr. Compliance Department? What I have for you to leverage to give me the capital I need is whatever. In this case, money. I'm going to give you $1.6 million. And you're going to go get some letters of credit or something for me, and you give me $5 million in a limited recourse loan that I do not have to pay back. That's so when you're asking me what are products and services, we have registered loans, rent a rich uncle you get from your bank, the 5x, capital enhancement program where you get 4x multiplier. We take you to one of our banks. managed by a set of SPLCs. This is, again, we do this with private banking divisions of a bank, or private bank is who we do this with. And then another one that a lot of joker brokers use is something called private placement programs trade. That's the known word for it. The real word for it in banking is called structured finance. So it's going to a bank and saying, look, I want to do a project. It requires funding. And listen to this, I have $10 million. I have $50 million. It's not something you can do with 1 or 2 million. You need to have over $10 million ready to go. And you need a project that requires funding. And the project has to go through the compliance division of the bank so that it's a real project. And basically what we do is we help the client take the 10 million. The word for it on the street is called block funds. Really, the client has to contact their bank and says, look, I have 10 million in my name. I need the 10 million to be in favor of another bank, not Taimour Zaman, not my uncle, not my neighbor, another bank. How do you, Mr. Banker, as my banker, will tell me, like, what do I need to do for you to help me with this? And then you get the procedure, you give it to the bank that wants to put you into trade. So
Now,
I'm gonna go back to
why is it called block funds? I know why it's called block funds, but why don't you tell me why is it called block funds? That's because that's important, right?
If you ask me, if this is my opinion, it's not the truth. It's a marketing gimmick word. Block funds. Hey, do you have 10 million, 100 million, your high net worth client? If you give me $10 million in a block fund, so it's blocking your account, I'm going to go make you a trillionaire. First of all, that's just, excuse my language, bullshit. Anything that's too good to be true is way too good to be true. If you hang up the phone with me right now and call Kevin's our FBI guy, or Tom, our CI guy, ask them how many hundreds of files of AFG clients they go through a year. They'll tell you 99.9% of these things, if not 100%, are all fraudulent. How you participate in a structured private placement program is the money is in your account. It has to be in your account so it makes you feel secure. But if I'm your banker, if I'm the trader who's leveraging your money to put it into an investment vehicle, how can you give me the money? I have to tell you it's block funds so you feel secure, and it will always be in your account, but you have to call your banker. And it's a question you need to ask your banker. I can't be the one answering it. How do you structure my money in the name of this trader or in the name of this banker without the money moving? And that's called block funds.
Get it?
I'm going to talk about Allfunds Global Banking Innovation Conferences. Around the world, we get together and we put bank CEOs from different geographies that apply and participate in different regulators to come together and talk about their capabilities. What we've been able to do very successfully is putting small and medium-sized bank CEOs in an Airbnb for a period of time to get to know each other, to get out of their heads, to go out of their businesses, and be able to discover new ahas and insights and share resources with each other. That's made an exponential impact. If you're a CEO of a bank, you want to for sure sign up. Check us out. Check out the testimonials from multiple bank CEOs about what they've accomplished from coming to our gatherings.
And we would love for you to join us and discover how you can access alternative funding with Allfunds Global.
You won't regret it.
So going back to Allfunds Global and the project products and services, we have registered loans and limited recourse loans. Registered loans, Rent the Rich Uncle, and our capital enhancement program. In both cases, the client must have a project that requires funding. In both cases, they fill up our KYC. They have funds for our fees. Imagine that, fees. In Rent the Rich Uncle, we go to your bank, who's agreed to do your funding. I'm not calling your bank. I'm not cold calling your bank. I'm not selling anything to your bank. You are the one calling your bank. If you want me to help you find a bank, I can do that for additional fee. I can go find a bank that'll do the transaction. And then our capital enhancement program, again, you need project funding. You need capital. You need to have some substantial amount of capital, like 1.5 million, 5 million, 10 million. You need to have some amount of capital. Where I take you to a private bank. You can buy insurance from that bank, not from Taimour Zaman, because at some point you have to wire them the money. Banks want you to send them money. I don't know how else to say that. They don't want you to keep the money. I have a lot of, occasionally I come across people who are not educated that much or not sophisticated, not smart. I don't know what else to say. And you know what they say? They say, okay, I want to do this capital enhancement program. Here's what I want to do. I have the money. You put the money in that program, and then when it becomes 5 million, 10 million, then I'll give you my money. Like, it doesn't work that way. If you can put up your money in the bank that I'm taking you to, respectfully, do not call me. Respectfully, do not call me ever. I have 10 million competitors. A lot of them are joker brokers and fraudsters. You can find them on Facebook, LinkedIn, and places that hang out with, and they solicit stuff. So, like, go call them. Good luck. So with Allfunds Global, registered loans are rent to rich uncle on a capital enhancement program. Limited recourse loans. The client has to have a minimum 1.5 million, 1.6 million minimum they need to have project funding. And then they need to give it time. They need 60 days, 90 days, 100 days for to leverage that money to go buy a lot of credit, sell a lot of credit, that the bank will do all of this for the client, or the family office we work with or the law firm we work with will do that for the client. They're getting money that they don't have to pay back, but they're getting from a limited recourse loan. That's what it's called. Or they have 10 million or more, and they want to go into what's called a private placement program trade. Honestly, God, the better word for it is called a structured financial program at a bank. And now they're blocking the money to do that. Now, if this is something you or people are interested in, my recommendation is to become a member on our website, allfundsglobal.com. Go become a member. You'll get access.
You missed out the other service you have, which is the events of being able to actually tell me about some of that, the things that you offer at the event, because most people are kind of mystified. They want to see all these incredible people that you're showing, but there's things that actually happen at those events that are extraordinary, from what I understand. Right. They get to speak directly to that person, and they bring their ideas to that place. I mean, it's incredible. Right. I understand. So can I just go into my call to action if that's okay? Then sure, go. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So listen, if you're interested in understanding our programs better, we do events, webinars, and face-to-face events. My recommendation is to go to our website, allfundsglobal.com, sign up to become a member. That will give you access to capital. Oh, sorry. Pardon. Can I have it then? Sorry. So if you're interested in learning more about our products and services, some of the banks we work with, and so on, my invitation at the minimum is to go to our website, allfundsglobal.com, and become a member. There are people that may want to copy our website, allfundsglobal.games or allfundsglobal.some nonsense. It's allfundsglobal.com. You become a member, you get access to, I think on a monthly basis, you'll get access to 1 or 2 emails from us saying, hey, we're hosting an event, or we're doing a webinar with a bank CEO or something like that. Show up to the webinars or the events to meet some of the bank CEOs that we're working with, and then ask them, is the stuff that Taimour talks about nonsense, or is it truly real? If this truly real, now you're entering the bank CEOs that we are working with, or the family offices, or the lawyers we're working with in a structured finance way. And that's a great way to also learn further about our products and services. Excellent. Always fantastic speaking with you. Makes my financial spirit just soar. Just to know these things is quite a privilege that you're actually giving people, because a lot of people have no idea that banks even have a private section. They don't know any of this stuff. So I think you're doing a great service. So thanks again, and until the next time, see ya. Hi friends, I now want to take a minute and answer some of your frequently asked questions.
One of the common questions I get a lot is, Taimour, we've learned a lot from you through your YouTube channel. How do we learn more? Can we fly down and meet your team? And the answer to all of that is yes, yes, and yes. If you want to learn more, my first invitation is to become a member of Allfunds Global. You simply go to our website, allfundsglobal.com. You sign up to become a member for free. You get access to webinars, offshore events that we do, and content that we never, ever, ever, ever publish on YouTube. I promise you that it's worth becoming a member for sure. The second way that you can learn a lot is I'm a published author. Structured Financing, Demystified, Hypergrowth, just multiple books on Amazon that you can get access to. I highly recommend going and checking out some of these books, getting engaged into some of the stuff, that strategies and tactics that we're using for ourselves, for our families, for our friends. You definitely want to check these things out for sure. Another question, I guess, Taimour, why are you so passionate about getting a bank license? Why is that so important? Well, the truth is, our mission within Allfunds Global is to help businesses become self-funded for life. Imagine you run a coffee shop and I run a coffee shop. Imagine we buy the coffee beans from the same grower and my coffee shop is right across yours, like really right across yours. Our competition is probably nil. But if you have a bank license and I don't have a bank license, and let's say I made $500,000 and you made $500,000 in income, but if you have a bank license, you are depositing a bank license with a central bank of the country where you own your own private bank license. Let me repeat this again. You are depositing your money with the central bank of the country you have your bank license on. So $500,000 deposited with the central bank should give you a line of credit of 10 times multiple. So that means you get a line of credit of $5 million. Now it's not free money, it's a line of credit of $5 million. Now, if you draw that entire money out and you go to whichever country you're currently resonating in, the country you're doing business with, and you know in real estate, you want to buy a house, you put 20% down and you get a loan for 80%, same thing. You put $5 million down with a business plan to your local bank, whoever your bank with, and say, hey, I want to grow my business, my technology business, real estate business, pharmaceutical business, whatever business it is. I'm a venture capitalist. I'm putting $5 million down. Your bank gives you a loan at four times more, so now you get a $20 million loan. Now it's not free money, it's $20 million loan. What can you afford to do with $20 million that I cannot afford to do with $500,000? Could you invest in artificial intelligence? Could you invest in hiring better people? Could you invest in advertising? Hell, with that amount of money, could you even buy auxiliary businesses or invest in auxiliary businesses? I say you can, and that's why we within Allfunds Global are so passionate in helping clients become self-funded for life, and getting a private bank license is one of the vehicles that I am personally very passionate about helping clients on. Another question, I guess, Taimour, you charge a consultation fee. Allfunds Global, the team charges a consultation fee. Why do you charge a consultation fee when you guys can make so much money on the back end? It somehow slows me down from taking a credit card and paying you money for it. Well, here's the truth. We offer our content, millions and millions of dollars worth of content complete for free on YouTube. We don't advertise as of the date of doing this video. We don't advertise on YouTube, Google, or we don't do any kind of advertising at all. And what we find is the volume of traffic that goes into YouTube attracts people that are tire kickers, people that are fraudsters, people that have mental health issues. When we charge a small consultation fee, this deters the hacker, the fraudster, the person who's shopping around, the tire kicker. It eliminates all that and allows me and my team to be on calls or meetings with customers we actually want to do business with. What a concept. Now comes, this is better. At the time of doing a transaction with a client, that fee they pay for a consultation call, we refund it. At the conclusion of us doing a transaction with a client, we refund 100% of all the monies that they paid on consultation fees. This allows us to work with people that are committed to working with us, are serious about working with us, are not tire kickers, are not people that are like, they don't know what banking 101 is, and they're there to waste our time and energy. Just eliminates that. And me and my team are very proud of doing that. Next question, I guess, Taimour, the alternative funding industry overall has a lot of fraudsters in it, has a lot of deep fake in it. What are you doing to protect us protect yourself? So here's the answer to that. Any industry that has a lot of money by default attracts a lot of fraud. Let me say this again. Any industry that attracts a lot of money by default attracts a lot of fraud. I don't know who you bank with. If you bank with one of the top 20 banks in the world, pick a bank you bank with, or you use payment processing companies like PayPal, these companies see a lot of fraud every day, from fraudsters mimicking their website to mimicking their email addresses, and in cases like mine, once a year or twice a year, some idiot, excuse my language, decides to copy my picture on social media, tries to create a fake profile of me, and goes on social media selling scammy transactions. Now, we have the technology and the resources to catch that, usually within 72 hours of that happening, and then cause legal action against that fraudster. We have the financial resources, thank God, to do that today, but that's just the nature of this industry. So what we do to protect ourselves is we never solicit on social media anything, nor do we solicit in general. We offer a lot of educational materials, but we don't solicit. You'll never see me or any of my associates on any social media trying to sell anything, ever. Second, all transactions that we do, money always has to go through a reputable law firm. All transactions we do, money always has to go to a reputable law firm. We never ask the client to send us money or anything like that. Now, I do want to take a minute and talk a little bit about my competitors. In the United States, in the US alone, US has 3% of the world's population, and they have over 60% of the world's lawyers. In the United States, that's a fact, have 3% of the world's population and over 60% of the world's lawyers. I have a lot of legitimate competitors in the United States and around the world that unfortunately have been sued for wrongful things that other people have done. There's a lot of negative stuff on social media or websites about some of my legitimate competitors. And I want to tell you that a lot of my competitors are legitimate. They're hardworking people. I know them. They deliver real results. And unfortunately, they have negative comments or fraud or even lawsuits against them. The reason within All Funds Global doesn't have a lawsuit against it, or me, Taimour, Zaman, don't have a lawsuit against me, or people on social media saying that we're fraudsters or something like that, is simply because of my lack of vision. Every company you deal with, every major company you deal with, whether it's the cars you drive, Ford, Lexus, I don't know, GM, or Facebook, Google, YouTube, whatever you use, or medicine you have, like Taimour, all of these companies have lawsuits against them. A lot of the companies you work with have litigations against them. It's just part of the growth. At some point, the business needs to grow exponentially, and that's when you have to see lawsuits as just the nature of the business growing. The fact that we don't have it is because of my lack of vision as the CEO and like trying to bark a tree like that. Now, I see that changing as we buy businesses that have other CEOs, as we grow. We have over 800 registered brokers with us. As that number grows, it's not normal for our business to continue growing without some idiot calling us fraudster, some idiot trying to sue us, or something like that. If you want to take advantage of the alternative funding industry, I'm going to tell you this is the industry I love. I'm going to tell you this is the industry that I've made a lot of money with. I'm going to tell you this is the industry I've helped a lot of clients make a lot of money with, friends and family make a lot of money with. And if this is an industry you want to get involved in, I recommend meeting the people you want to do business with, like physically flying out to meeting them. If you can afford to hire an investigator, we use a lot of former FBI, former CIA people. These are people you can hire to do background checks. It's not only do these people have lawsuits or not, or other losers calling them fraudsters or not. I'm telling you, a lot of my competitors are really good people, and they're not fraudsters. So do your own due diligence, listen to your intuition. We're really interested in working with some really good people that are vision-driven entrepreneurs that really want to serve the world, and I think we have some things that are really amazing to offer. Another question I get is, Taimour, we love all the services of Funds Global. What are the top 3 services you offer that we should really seriously think about, call you or your organization and get you guys involved? But my favorite service, the one that makes a lot of sense, is the Trusted Advisory Service. This is when we become your chief banking officer. We work with your CFO, your legal team, you're the CEO, the COO. We look at where your organization is, where you want it to be. We look at banking programs that make sense for your type of business, that are proven and would work to generate access to alternative revenue sources for your business that makes sense. From that, we then create offshore tax structures, offshore bank accounts, offshore bank licenses for your organization, so the revenue that gets generated has a channel to go to that is well protected. We have a lot of domain expertise that I do not share ever on YouTube. It's not like a lawyer who's like, go create a trust account and cooks at it. Like we don't do. We do some very sophisticated stuff that I'm very proud of. That's our intellectual property. And so the trusted advisory services, where we become a trusted advisor, is one of the things that I would recommend everybody to look at. It's a monthly retainer, you pay for it, but let me tell you, for every penny you put in to that, you get tens of dollars out of it. And I think you're not gonna get this amount of expertise dedicated to your business. So that's something I would recommend you to think about and sign up for. Second one is if you're looking for access to capital, we have a lot of unique programs like Rent a Rich Uncle that we can support your organization as long as your organization is a successful business and not a startup, not somebody who's going bankrupt. It's a successful business that has real cash, real assets, and is generating something real, that's real growth. I think we have some avenues for accessing capital that others simply cannot offer. And the final one that I love is we have a lot of asset management structures that are very unique to our intellectual property that I love to share with you. If you have assets, you want to grow, you want to get bank license, you want to set up a trust, you want to work with multiple central banks, do some really cool stuff. I think I'm the only weirdest person that has real expertise and experience in doing this stuff. And so my name is Taimour Zaman from Allfunds Global. Thank you for following us up on YouTube. If you're doing that, thank you for trusting me. Thank you for trusting my team. And on behalf of my team, I just really want to say thank you. And we look forward to the opportunity of serving you.